Hello, grade 9 students. In this video, we're going to talk about our new lesson, the renal system. This chapter 4, activity 1 on page 78, talking about kidneys, the site of urine formation. Organization of the urinary system, which is called also the renal system or is called the excretory system. This is a diagram that's showing the anatomy of the renal system, where we have the two kidneys. They are bean-shaped structures. We have a renal artery, the renal vein, the ureter, and the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is the site where the urine is stored. Now we're going to move deeply in this chapter to identify the different components and the different functions of this system. The role of each of the following. First, let's start with the kidneys. Kidneys, they are the site of the urine formation. Urine formation is done in the kidneys. So kidneys, they are responsible for the formation of urine. The ureters, they allow the passage of the urine from the kidneys toward the bladder. They are like a connection, like a link between the kidneys and the bladder. Bladder is the storage of urine, is the size of storage. Someone is going to ask me, so what's the difference between kidneys and renal bladder? Site of urine formation, sort of storage of urine. There's a big difference. It's stored in the urinary bladder, but it's produced in the kidneys. So it's produced in the kidneys, moved to the ureters, and then it moved to the urinary bladder. And whenever we go to the toilet to excrete our urine, it's going to excrete it through the urethra. So urethra is the passage of urine from the urinary bladder to outside the body. Urinary bladder is present in both male and female. So the pathway of the urine is going to pass from the kidneys to the ureters and then to the urinary bladder where it's going to be stored, to the urethra and to be excreted outside the body. What is the role of the kidneys? Kidneys, they have an important role. They make the filtration process of the blood. They filter the blood. This is why they are rich in blood vessels. This process occurs at the level of the nephrons in the kidney. So what are the nephrons? Nephrons, they are the microscopic and the functional unit of the kidneys. The kidneys, they are formed from nephrons. Nephrons is the structural and the functional unit of the kidneys, as shown here in the figure and annotated in the circle. Nephrons, they are the microscopic structural and functional unit of the kidney. What is the function of each of the following? Renal artery and renal vein. Renal artery, they give O2 to the kidneys. Renal vein, they take CO2 from the kidneys. So artery, renal artery, O2. Renal vein, CO2 from the kidney. Okay, so renal artery gives O2 to the kidneys. Renal vein takes CO2 from the kidney. What are the constituents of urine? We have different constituents. They are water, they are mineral salts and ions, they are urea, uric acid, and ammonia. So in this figure, 96% it's water, 2% it's urea and uric acid with creatinine, ammonia, sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, or oxalate. All of them, they represent about 2%. So these are the constituents of urine. What happens if proteins are found in urine? This is called proteinuria. This will cause the damage of the nephrons and the damage of the kidneys. This leads to kidneys problems. So high amount of protein in the urine indicate the problem in the kidney and especially damage in the nephrons. What does the presence of glucose in blood indicate? It indicates that diabetes exists, meaning that we have high level of sugar in our body. This indicates that you have diabetes. Diabetes meaning that high level of sugar inside our body, and in the urine test they can detect this. In the old eras, they used to taste the urine. If they taste it, if it looks, for example, it looks tasty, it tastes sweety, so we know that we have diabetes. But and nowadays we can detect the presence using tests and through motor tests. So alhamdulillah. Chapter 4, Activity 2, on page 80, talking about the renal function, the functions of the renal system, meaning that the function of the kidneys. Kidney has double function, has two functions, summarized as follow. They have a purifying function. They eliminate the toxic waste. They eliminate the urea, uric acid, ammonia present in the plasma. They have a regulating function. They regulate the amount of water and mineral salts in the plasma by eliminating the excess of water and ions. So they have regulation. They eliminate the excess water and ions. This is a regulating function. And they have a purifying function, meaning that they have to purify, eliminate the toxic substances like urea, uric acid, and ammonia outside the body. So they have a double function. Purification, okay? They filtrate, let's say, filtration function, and regulating, they regulate the level of ions and water, and they get rid of excess water and ions outside the body. As a note, origin of urea. The high protein diet lead to high quantity of urea in the urine. So people who eat a high amount of protein, so this will lead to high quantity of urea in the urine. Proving the activity on page 81, here we have to compare between these two. Comparison, plasma and urine. Plasma and urine, 905, 950. So in water and urine, it's more than the plasma. Proteins, 0 in the urine. Lipids, also 0. Glucose, it's also 0. Meaning that proteins, lipids, and glucose are found in the plasma. Mineral ions, 9.2 in plasma, or they are 13 in the urine. Urea, 0.3, while it's 24 gram per liter in the urine. It's greater than. Uric acid is 0.03, which is less than the amount of uric acid, which is called nitrogenous waste in the urine. Ammonia 0.01 in the plasma, which is less than that in the urine. This is called a comparison. Less than, greater than, or it's equal. Okay, so here the quantity of water, mineral ions, urea, and uric acid, and ammonia was 905, 9.2, 0.3, 0.03, and 0.01 gram per liter. Here I moved them step by step, respectively. Are less than that found in the urine. 950, 13, 24, 0.5, and 0.8. So first one for water, second for mineral ions, third for urea, fourth for uric acid, and fifth for ammonia. Why? The quantity of protein, lipids, and glucose in plasma, they are 70 to 80, 5, and 1 gram, greater than that in the urine, which were 0 gram, all of them. So it has a purifying role. Why? Because urea, uric acid, and ammonia are eliminated from the plasma. There is no urea, there is no uric acid, there is no ammonia in the plasma. All of them, they are eliminated through the urine. The high protein diet, as we said, leads to high quantities of urea in the urine. Exercise 6 on page 86 show that urine of person A gives red brick precipitate in failing test, while the absence of violet in violet test. While in B, urine will show absence of red precipitate and violet color in failing and violet test. Individual C show violet with violet and absence of brick. So A, since it gives a brick red precipitate with failing, meaning that it contains reducing sugar, meaning that we have a glucose. So this person has diabetes. C has a violet color with violet test. Violet color with violet test, this indicates that it contains proteins, while it contains proteins. So it has high level of proteins inside the urine. This will mean that we have damage in the nephrons. So this is a question, for example, pay attention to this. We're going to be asked for this in your quiz this week about this. So high amount of glucose meaning that we have diabetes, high amount of proteins, meaning that we have damage in the nephrons. Okay, using these tests that were already described now in the chapter of digestion. Thank you. Bye bye.